And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Abraca what? Yes, every time I teach this game, someone says, what are you playing? I say, we're playing Abraca what? And then they wait expectantly, waiting for me to say Abraca what? No, that's the name of the game. In this game, you are different wizards. You're trying to become the best wizards at all. The problem is you kind of forget what you can do. You're like, I'll cast a fireball. I think I know how to do it. That's the concept of this game. In reality, it's one of those games, which seem to be there are many of these days, where everyone can see your stuff except for you. It's a competitive game, although this game has a really cool little mechanism to keep your stuff hidden. Let's take a look at it. You'll notice there's a lot of different pieces here in the game. Here's the board itself. The board is a couple things. You're going to have points, and you're going to keep track of your points here. The first person to get to the top of the tower is the winner of the game. Each round of the game, you're going to be casting these spells, and the board also gives information on that. There's enough spells here for each number. There's 8 8, 7 7s, and 1 1. There's 2 spaces here. 1 space is for the point tokens. So if we find, for example, that someone's cast a level 8 spell, you'll place it here on the board, and that gives people information to know how many of each number spell has been cast. Now on your turn, you're going to draw a certain number of tiles, depending on the number of players, and you're going to draw these tiles, and you're going to be facing everyone but you. So you're going to see everyone else's tiles, but you're not going to see your own tiles. There's also going to be the leftover tiles will be placed down, and these are considered secret tiles, and nobody knows what these tiles are for or what's on them. So on my turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a spell. The problem is I have to cast a spell that I have. So I can say, okay, I'm going to cast spell number 4. I say that, and then the other players will tell me if I'm correct. So they look at my tiles. Let's say my tiles here, I have a 6, a 7, a 2, a 4, and a 6. So hooray, I did have a 4. Someone says, yes, you have it. I cast spell number 4. I place it here. Then I can go again. However, if I want to continue going, I have to say a number that's the same as 4 or higher. I can no longer say a 1, 2, or 3. So let's say I said a 6. All right, I cast another spell. And then I feel pretty bold, so I say an 8. I don't have an 8, so I lose 1 life. Everyone starts with 6 life, and play goes to the next person. I draw back up to the number of tiles I'm supposed to have, unless, of course, there's no more tiles to be drawn from. That does not include the secret tiles that are set aside. So what do the different spells do? There's only one number 1, and it's the best spell there is. You're going to roll a 3-sided die that comes with the game, and that's how many life points everyone else's lose. Number 2, the Dark Wanderer. By the way, you're supposed to say the names of these when you call them out. You're supposed to say, number 2, Dark Wanderer, because everyone has a sheet that tells them what all the spells do. The Dark Wanderer makes everyone else lose a life, and you get 1 life. Sweet Dreams, which usually makes people sing a song. You roll a die, and that's how much health you get back. Number 4, Night Singer. You can look at one of the secret spells, and you put it in front of yourself. Number 5, Lightning Tempest. The person to your right and left lose a life. Number 6, Blizzard. The person to your left loses a life. Number 7, Fireball. The person to your right loses a life. Number 8, Magic Drink. You get a life back. Now, the game, or the round, I should say, ends when one person loses all their life, or when one person gets rid of all their tiles. When one person gets rid of all their tiles, technically everyone else loses all their life. At that point, players are going to score points. If you killed yourself for whatever reason, everyone but you gets a point. If you won the game, that round, you'll get 3 points, and everyone else will get 1 point if they're still around. Dead people get no points at all. You also get a bonus point for each secret tile that you've gotten over the course of the game. You keep doing this until one person has gotten a certain number of points. That person is the winner. Now, I really like these little plastic pieces that are used in this game. They're a good way to let them just sit on the table. You don't have to hold cards or anything. Everyone else can just see what you have. I wouldn't mind seeing them in games like Hanabi or Cryptos, a game I reviewed last week. They're slightly problematic in a 5-player game because it's hard for everybody to see your tiles except you in a 5-player game. In a 4-player game, very easy. You line them up, the other 3 people, 3 corners, boom, 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 they see your stuff. 5-player game, you'll often have to be turning them so other people can see them without looking at them yourself. Or you'll find yourself leaning to look at somebody's and you got to cover yours so you don't see them. That's the only number of players I've had a problem with. Everything else, it's fine. And in fact, I think this plays really well as a 4-player game. It's really interesting. At first, I was kind of hesitant about these spells. I said, each spell does something different. The small ones are very powerful, but big deal. It's not that I'm going to pick the spell based on what kind of spell it is. I'm picking the spell based on the number. And that has held true, but it is interesting about the types of spells people cast. You're looking around the board. If I see you have the number 1, for example, I know I don't have the number 1. If I see only one number 2, I'm pretty sure I have a number 2, but it could be one of the secret tiles, and it could be a tile that's not been drawn yet. And so I have to wait till all the tiles have been drawn and maybe narrow things down. What's even more interesting is trying to run the gamut, right? If you can get rid of all your tiles in one turn, you'll win, but that's really hard because not only do you have to start small and go high, you have to get them all correct. And I think I've seen that happen maybe once. Most of the games, people get rid of their tiles after all tiles have been drawn or someone has died, which seems to be the most common way for a round to end. But just trying to guess, and then you can do really sneaky things. Like I know you have the number 1, and I say, I'm casting spell number 1, and everyone looks at me a little oddly, the other players, because they know you have the number 1, but you don't know that I know that. So I've casted, it fails, I lose a life point, but now no one knows where that number 1 is. Well, everyone does except you. It's kind of weird to wrap your mind around, but you can do some interesting things. Now, this isn't some deep game. At its heart, it's just silly fun, and you're casting spells. And the rule book actually says, shout the spells. I don't know if that's an error in translation, but we make people shout them. It just seems funnier that way. And the whole casting of spells, it's kind of a light game. I don't want to say that it's super deep, because I don't think it's there. But it's kind of something interesting to pass the time. And it does have some deduction in it, trying to figure out where the numbers are. And the pieces are really phenomenally nice. So I think fans of Hanabi would be interested in this. I think fans of trying to figure out what's in your own hand in a very light setting. The game I reviewed last week, Cryptos and this have a lot in common. And so if you think that's cool, I would certainly check this one out. That's Abraca what? Dice Tower Judgment. Approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.